calculate the magnitude of the force required to just move a 20 kilogram object along a horizontal surface if the coefficient of friction is 0.2. So let's quickly do that. So we write out our parameters. So the first parameter there is the mass. Mass represented with letter M equals to 20 kilogram along a horizontal surface if the coefficient, next one is coefficient of friction mu represented with letter mu equals to 0.2. Then we have our gravity there, which equals to 10 meter per second square. Okay, so that's the parameters we can extract from the question. So we have to calculate the force required to just move this mass along a horizontal surface. So the force capable enough to just move that mass is a force that will be slightly greater than the limiting frictional force. When you say limiting frictional force, is that maximum force, or is that force that is, when you talk about limiting frictional force, it is the maximum frictional force on an object or between two surfaces. You understand? It is the maximum what frictional force between two surfaces, in which if you overcome that maximum frictional force, that's when you are now able to slide that body along the surface. Do you understand? So now frictional force equals to what? Coefficient of friction of the surface. That coefficient of friction represents the roughness of that surface. So if the surface is very rough, the coefficient of friction will be high. But here you see mu is 0.2, which is very small. That means the surface is not that really rough. So limiting frictional force is mu, coefficient of friction, times normal reaction, R. And what is normal reaction? Normal reaction is the force that is equal to the weight of the body but act in opposite direction to the weight of the body. Like for instance, if you have this plane here and something is resting on it, you know that the mass of this acts downward, and the weight of this object acts downward. And weight is what? Mass times acceleration due to gravity. So reaction force is a force that tends to keep this body on the plane. It doesn't allow it to sink the plane. So that reaction force acts in opposite direction to the weight. So that will be mg as well. So normal reaction equals to the weight of the body, but it acts in opposite direction. So the limiting frictional force is what? Coefficient of friction, that's the degree of roughness of the surface times the weight of that body. So now we are not given the normal reaction. However, normal reaction R will be what? Mass times gravity, and the mass here is 20 and the gravity given is 10. So the normal reaction will be what? 200 Newton. So the limiting frictional force F required to just slide, that's the force that you need to overcome before you can slide that object along the surface, will now be 0.2 times what? 200, which is the same thing as 2 over 10 times 200. So 10 will cancel 0 there. That will give you 40 Newton. So the force required to just slide that body, the force required to just slide that body along the plane is 40 Newton.